Hey everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the Canon 17-55 EFS f2.8 lens. Now this lens was released all the way back in 2006. This lens has built quite a reputation over the years as being an affordable all-rounder with a constant aperture that's quite low at 2.8. And it's also got quite a handy zoom range of 17 to 55 millimeters, and that covers quite a wide variety of situations. And people also say that it's got the optics of an L series lens, but costs much less. I myself found this lens at 300 New Zealand dollars, and for those who aren't Kiwis, that's bloody cheap. It's about 175 US dollars right now. And recently I took this to Japan as a single travel lens. I paired it up with my Fujifilm X-H2S, so let's see how it did. Now build wise, this lens comes in a plastic body, so it doesn't really have that premium feel. It's quite hefty as well at 645 grams, and to top it off, it can be a bit rackety. In saying that, I think it's actually quite sturdy. I don't think little dings and knocks would really break this lens. It is worth noting though that the lens doesn't have weather sealing, so I would keep it as dry as possible, but it should withstand a little bit of rain. It's also got a filter thread of 77 millimeters, which is quite a standard filter thread to have, and that just allows people to use their filters that they might already have in their kits. The zoom ring is okay at best. It's got a change in resistance on my copy, so at around 20 to 40 millimeters mark you can feel a bit of stiffness. But the focus ring is more consistent in its travel, although in my copy there's a bit of dust in there, so I can feel it grinding around a bit when I twist it. If you've got a copy that's a few years old, it's probably going to have some dust in there somewhere. But despite its quirks, this lens is pretty good value still. Now before we get into the rest of the video, I just want to show you some shots that I took so you can judge it in real world scenarios before I get into the nitty gritty. If you've enjoyed the video so far and you're not subscribed already, please do consider subscribing to support future videos like this one. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. This lens offers quite good image quality, especially for the focal range that it covers. It is sharp in the center through the entire zoom range. Like most lenses, it improves as you stop down. The corners are a little bit softer, but not bad overall. Now it does suffer from a little bit of chromatic aberration, especially at its widest end and particularly in the corners. It's really difficult for these types of lenses to be completely chromatic aberration free, but still keep the low cost. So overall, this lens performs really good in terms of sharpness. For majority of your use cases, I think you won't be disappointed. Okay, so it's quite a tricky topic, right? Some people like that creamy look and others like the imperfections. The bokeh quality with this lens I think strikes a perfect balance between a super creamy bokeh and one that's got a bit of character. It captures the vibe really well, and that's important to me, especially when I'm traveling. The lowest aperture this lens gives you is f2.8. That means you can get relatively out of focus backgrounds. Now there are prime lenses that have much lower apertures, so you're not going to get the same separation with this lens, but if you're close enough to your subject and you're over 35 millimeters, you can still get really good subject separation out of this lens. I want to know what you guys think. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. This lens has been around for nearly 2 decades now, so my expectations of the autofocus performance wasn't high. It's not lightning fast. It can struggle in low light situations or if you've got a lot of movement in your scene. It does depend on the camera that you're using, so you might get different results on different camera bodies. But for the vast majority of the scenarios, I found that the autofocus did the job nicely. So that's a pleasant surprise given the age. One thing I do want to mention is that it is a little bit noisy. So if you are recording onboard sound, just beware that it might get picked up. There is some focus breathing on this lens, so rack focusing, you will notice a little bit of a change in the zoom, but it's not that bad. I've seen a lot worse in other lenses, but if you are capturing videos and you do rack focus now and then, I would be aware of it. Some modern cameras can compensate for this type of thing, so it might not be a big deal for you. It's got 3 stops of stabilization. Don't expect any miracles. It's just enough to take that edge off, so it's better paired with your camera body image stabilization, but it's still quite a nice feature to have, especially with a lens in this category. In 2023, this lens is still a fantastic choice. It's not perfect, it's got its quirks, but even after 20 years, the fact that it still finds a special place in my collection as a travel lens, I think that speaks for itself. It's sharp with great image quality. It's got a versatile zoom range of 17-55mm that covers a lot of ground. It's got image stabilization and autofocus. Some other lenses in this category don't even have all of the features even today. If you're looking for an all-round lens that can cover a variety of situations, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, I think you should look at getting a used copy of this lens. That was my review of this lens. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. If you are a subscriber, thanks so much for your support. That's it for now. See you later.